Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Happy to be here with you Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the Moyne College Dolphins, this is another Dolphin Dive coming to you here on Wake Up Call. Nick DiPillo, the head coach of the Moyne Dolphins women's basketball team, heading into the 2025-26 season, speaking on recruiting and scheduling as we are here in his year 2 at Moyne and year 3 for the reclassification from D2 to D1. Nick, how you doing?
Doing well, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing well. I know that, for you and I have got to talk about a lot of different things. We spoke right when you came into town for year 1. It feels insane that that was a year ago, but just what you could say about maybe what those takeaways were from year 1 on the Heights at Moyne.
Yeah, there's so much transition that goes into it. Obviously, from a professional standpoint, everything from building a roster, building a culture, getting acclimated to how things work at an institution. There's the personal piece of it. You're moving, you're getting your family settled, all of those things. And you're trying to coach a team through a season when you have some kids who obviously I didn't have an opportunity to recruit and get to know and build those relationships with. And then you're adding in, X amount of new players. Then you're starting to recruit for the 26 class. So there's so many moving parts. That first, 6, 7, 8 months is an absolute whirlwind. So to be here roughly 12, 13 months later with the program in a position where I think it's in a great place, it's really, really exciting.
Yeah, and for you, when you say you feel like the program's in a great place, what is it in these last 12 to 13 months that you feel like has given you that essence of this team that you are moving in the right direction?
Yeah, it's the number one thing is the relationship building that you have an opportunity to do, right? So, we still have a few players on the roster who I was fortunate enough to inherit. And in that time, I've had a year of building meaningful relationships with them. So even though they weren't my recruits, they're my kids now. They understand my expectations and how I work. I have a great understanding of their expectations and what they want out of their student athlete experience. I understand how to connect with them much better. We brought in 8 new players this year. All of those players, I got to know them. I got to know them and their families. They were recruited to and committed to my vision for this program. So the alignment that we have in this program, 12, 13 months later is it's puts us in a really good spot.
And you talked about some of the players that you inherited. You said, after a season together, these are my players. What can you say to those that relationship? And like you said, coming in and the cupboard's not bare, but these are people that you didn't recruit and that you hadn't built relationships prior to. Now you have those connections. What can you say to what some of those returnees have done for you and why you feel like, hey, this is my team. These are definitely my girls now.
Well, I mean, building the relationships, it has to be organic and authentic, right? So, when I get the job in June, I don't see them for the first time until the end of August because we didn't just when I got the job, we didn't have time to do summer school and summer workouts and stuff like that. It's like equivalent to speed dating. Like you think you get to know someone, but you don't.
Yeah.
So it takes time. It takes conversations. It takes going through, some hard times, which we did during the season this past year. Then it takes battling through and seeing success for them individually and for us as a team to figure out what makes them work and how to coach them and how to react to them. So, the relationship building is, like I said, it has to be authentic. And we had an opportunity with these kids to make it authentic. We had some really good postseason meetings with them. Things that I think they can do better, things that I can do better to help them be more successful on and off the floor. Had a lot of talks and dialogue prior to us returning back to campus for summer workouts. And since we've been back, just building off of that, I think you learn from every player you coach throughout the course of your career because everyone has different personalities. There's a different connection. And, I'm thankful for all of our players, particularly the returners that we have this year, to kind of push me to be better. Just like I'm always pushing them to be better. I appreciate this group for pushing me to be a better coach than I was last year.
You heard a lot about Sierra Lennon coming in. Is there anywhere on the floor you think she can't shoot from?
Nope. And I've been fortunate enough to coach some really good players. I tell her this all the time. I was fortunate enough to coach some really, really good players at a lot of different levels.
Yeah.
At the Division III level, WNBA, and everything in between. I don't know if I've ever coached a kid with a brighter green light than she has. So as long as she's focusing on all the other stuff, which she has been, she's been great. She came back this summer in really, really good shape with a great mindset. She could let that thing fly from anywhere.
Nick DiPillo here with us this morning on this edition of the Dolphin Dive. You said you brought in 8 newbies. Bring me into true freshmen, transfer portal, just what the makeup of these 8 new players is.
Yeah, so it's 6 of them are freshmen, and 2 of them are transfers. One from a Division III school, one from a junior college. There it's a without diving deep into them individually. What I can say is our roster got bigger, bigger just at every position, 2 to 3 to 4 inches bigger at every position. Um, the overall qualities and themes of these players are high character, high work ethic, team first, culture kids um, who are in it for the same reasons. Um, the alignment, bringing in these 8 with the 6 that we have coming back, it's really, really exciting for us to have depth of talent, depth of size, depth of skill, and an abundance of character and enthusiasm. Our practices, I think today's our 7th practice that we're about to have. The gym is so much louder. The energy is huge, and that's just a testament to who we have coming in and the returners that we have opening up to each other, welcoming each other, and really just having a sincere excitement for what we're building here.
You talked about getting bigger at every position. How important was that for you to have a few more inches at each
Yeah.
spot from what you saw last year?
Well, it never hurts, I don't necessarily think we lost any games because of size last year. I think the players that we had, they played bigger than what they were. But with that being said, if you can have really good skill with size, it definitely helps. I mean, 2 of our freshmen that are coming in or that are here now. Well, one's here now. One is still playing in Ireland right now for the Irish national team, the U20 World Championships coming up. They're 6'2", 6'3", and we just didn't have that last year. And even though they're young, they're big and they're skilled and they have high basketball IQs, and it's a nice luxury to have. Like we just look a little bit different when we get off the bus this year.
Yeah, and for you, when you looked at last season, like you said, making this transition, you've been at all different levels, you've been in the pro world as well. So to come to this team last season and go through the season inside of the Northeast Conference, the NEC, what were your takeaways of what you saw within the conference, and how did that affect how you recruited stepping forward?
Yeah, I mean, listen, FDU was the class of the conference last year. They ran the table. They had a senior laden, a 5th-year senior laden team, so experience mattered. But the outside of them, we beat everybody else in the conference, right? So we won at least one game against everyone else in the conference. What I took away is that the margin for error is extremely, extremely small on any given night. Stonehill was the clear number 2 team in the league. We were fortunate to play a good game, beat them on our court, had another opportunity in the playoffs and end of the regular season, despite where we were last year. Our big theme for this summer has been details and focusing on the little things, and just having understanding that the smallest of details have the greatest consequences. As we fix those things, adding the talent, adding the size, adding reviving the character and all that stuff within our locker room. We strongly believe that we're positioning ourselves, despite our youth, to make a huge step forward this year.
Well, like you said, the players returning, those are your players now. You've built those relationships. You've had the opportunity to bring in a class of your own and to really have the time to recruit and to bringing these 8 new faces. You said 6 freshmen. We're not seeing that all over Division 1, right? We're seeing a lot of transfer portal heavy. Why was it important to you to stay true to what the model used to be and to make sure that high schools and prep schools are getting looked at and getting opportunities?
Yeah, for a lot of reasons, and I'll tell you, I think Lemoyne's a special place, and we have a lot to offer, right? So, I'm a big believer that if we can recruit with purpose and recruit to not only the philosophy and the mission of my program, but to the college. Not only can we recruit highly skilled student athletes who want to get a great experience on and off the court, we can also retain those student athletes. And I'm a big believer that, at the mid-major level, that the best programs are always going to be built through freshmen and developing those freshmen and retaining those freshmen. And we were able to identify those 6 again, not only who bought into the vision of what I see this program doing moving forward, but we bought into the development of them, and they're all gung ho on that. They're like I said, they're terrific kids. They've come in with a ton of energy. They've all been highly successful and well coached from where they came from. And I do believe at this level that if you can identify the right freshmen, and I think we did, that you can position yourself to build the foundation of a program that's sustainable over long term.
And you of these 6 freshmen that you brought in, what can you say about the recruiting footprint as far as where you were willing to go, where you did go, and so what the makeup is for this season coming in?
Yeah, so we have a couple. We have 2 from the state of Pennsylvania, one from Erie, one from Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania. Actually, 3 from Pennsylvania, one from Downingtown, Doylestown, I believe it is. We have a Jersey kid. We have one from Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, and then we have a post player from Ireland who did a year of prep school at Putnam Science in Connecticut. So, I think the Northeast, just the all the states that touch New York, it's a fertile recruiting ground for us. Again, we offer an opportunity to play at in a conference where their families and their parents and their loved ones are going to get to see them play, within driving distance of everywhere.
Yeah.
I think the attraction of being part of a building program who's got a bright future ahead of it, was really, really appealing. And once we started getting commitments from 1 or 2 of them, the ones who came on later got to know the ones who already committed, and that helped the process too. The before any of these freshmen have stepped foot on campus, they played a pivotal role in recruiting each other, and even helping out with our 26 class, which again is a testament to what we're trying to build here.
Well, yeah, and like you said, I mean, the Northeast area, a fertile ground when it comes to finding what you need here in the basketball world. I mean, as far as the New York circuit, what can you say to maybe what you've seen? Is there a thought of anything local, a thought of anything state of New York, Long Island area, the boroughs? Have you looked into those pieces as well for the future?
Yeah, no question. Some of the more prominent talent in this upcoming 26 class is kind of all based in that Western Central New York area. Some of the better AU programs are based out of those areas. So we're excited, and we're involved with a couple really talented players in the next couple upcoming classes who are very local to us. Which is definitely super exciting.
Nick DiPillo here with us in this edition of the Dolphin Dive. Scheduling. We know that last year you did not get to make that schedule. So
Yeah.
what can you tell me about this schedule this season and what you have non-conference coming up?
Yeah, so really excited about the balance that we have in the schedule this year, right? So our travel has been tamed down a little bit without sacrificing opportunities to give our players a chance to play on some of the bright stages of college basketball. We have we're starting up some series with local-ish schools that kind of fit our footprint and who we are. I can speak to some of the contracts that we have back. So we're starting home and home series with Bucknell, Lafayette, St. Bonaventure, and Cornell. So we're really excited about those. Season opener is going to be at St. John's this year. So we're super excited about that.
Yeah.
We're also able to get a couple other opportunities for our kids to play. We're going to go down to Baylor. We're going to play down there. We're going to play at the University of Pittsburgh. We're going to play at Marquette University, another Jesuit school. So really excited about that. We're going to get to play at St. Joe's. We're going to play a couple games down there in a tournament a little bit before Christmas. So I think we've struck a nice balance between giving our kids an opportunity to play and compete at the highest level, because I do believe you learn a lot about your team in games like those. And then also starting those local rivalries with schools who kind of sort of look like us a little bit in our aspirant group, to kind of test ourselves and see where we're at. And I think this schedule, the way it's spaced out, it really prepares us to get into NEC play right after the turn of the new year.
And when you are building that non-conference schedule, how important is it for you to find teams that mimic teams inside of the NEC? Are you looking at, schematically teams like that saying, yeah, we want to be able to travel, do some good things, build some
Yeah.
in-state rivalries, but we also want to find some schools that are mimicking some of the ways that the NEC teams are going to, like what they're going to show us and how they're going to play?
Yeah, 100%. The thing about and there was a little bit of coaching turnover in conference coming into this year, so it'll be interesting how those teams do play. But yeah, no, the diversity of how teams play on both ends of the floor is pretty vast in our conference. So I do think our non-conference schedule reflects that. I don't think there's going to be much that we see in NEC play that we wouldn't have gone up against in our non-conference schedule. And like you said, that was definitely by design, just to make sure we're seeing a little bit of diversity in, the structure that teams do and don't play with offensively,
Yeah.
and defensively, what the history is with how some of those teams play. Obviously, you played the Pitts and the Marquettes and the St. John's and the Baylors of the world. You're testing yourself at another level from a size and athleticism standpoint. But again, I think for us, that's really testing the fight level of our players. And, from what I've seen so far in these early practices, they're excited about those games. It's not going to be one of those, oh, well, we have to go play at Baylor. That stinks. Like, no, like we're excited. We're going to play in front of, 10 to 12 to 15,000 people,
Yeah.
like against a team that might go to the Sweet 16 or better this year. And this group craves that, which is exciting.
And before I let you go, and we'll jump into rapid fire in a second here,
Yep.
for you stepping forward, what did you learn about yourself in this past year? Like I said, you've been challenged in all different nooks and crannies of college basketball and pro basketball. What did you learn about Nick DiPillo as you step into this season?
Yeah, just a couple things. Obviously, giving yourself grace through the process. Never wavering from your vision. I think prior to taking this job, and even when I took the job, it's a build, right? It's not a year one. You come in, you snap your fingers, and you're where you want to be. So through the ups and the downs, finding the small victories every day that reinforce your vision and reinforce and kind of give you reassurance
Yeah.
that what you're doing is working. And for me, there's been no better reassurance in that than when our players came back. And I go back to the returners. Sierra and Michelina, obviously they're the two seniors coming back, but also Eli and Jess and Amaya and Sid. The way they came back, with open-mindedness, with a love and a passion for attacking this summer head on,
Yeah.
um, just shows how important, and the reaffirmation that the relationship building, the time that we put into that, how important that's been, not only for the program, but for them individually, and then for our relationship as well.
And when you talk on relationships, your two of your assistants coming back, Casey Filiault as well as Mya Jackson. You're bringing on Emma Boslet. Just what you can say about bringing Emma in and why it was
Yeah.
important to have Casey and Mya, who came in with you, to continue with you.
Yeah, with obviously Emma just graduated from St. Joe's, a fellow Jesuit institution. She was, I call her a self-made player. I knew her when she was in high school. I was at Seton Hall at the time, so I kind of got to see her evolution and her growth as a player. And she was someone who as a freshman probably didn't have the role that she wanted to. but developed and worked and grinded and became the starting point guard on a team that had one of its best seasons in program history, at least in recent memory. And in talking to her head coach, Cindy Griffin, who I've known for years, you know, not only was Emma's play a huge part of that, but her ability to galvanize and reinforce and build team culture was a big reason for that. And as we kind of identified what our staff, what we needed to complement with Casey and MJ, that was huge. And it's only been a couple of weeks with Emma, but she's kind of she's kind of got went above and beyond with it, reinforcing and reconfirming why that was a great decision for us. With just who she is as a person, the way she's connected to, related with our players, met them where they are, and been able to share her experiences as a student athlete. And obviously with Casey and MJ, the trust with those two is marrow deep. Their ability to create lasting relationships with our players, with recruits, with people in the area, with people on campus and administration. You talk about genuine people who are in this profession for the right reasons. Casey and MJ kind of exemplify that. And for them to be a direct reflection of me and what I want this program to represent. We talk about the locker room being in a good place. The coach's office is in a great place as well.
That coming here from the leader of Lemoyne women's basketball. It's time for Dolphin Dives Rapid Fire. So, Nick, what do you got for me first?
Um, it's hot as heck in Syracuse. We are in the dog days of summer. What are your summer spots in this area that you've got to hit up in days like this?
Oh man, when it's hot outside, stay inside. No, but I would say I love going out and seeing the movies. That's big. Superpowered Pops, our entertainment show, so I do like the air condition of that. But yeah, I mean, really just being with family. Mom's got a pool, and my grandmother had a pool growing up, so just simple things in that respect. I'm gardening now. I have my own spearmint and strawberries, and I'm really proud of myself. My Italian thumb has finally come through at 39 years old, so I am happy with that, and happy that I got a little garden going on. So yeah, I mean, I just keep it simple. When I have some time to myself, it's usually time with family, time with my dog, and now with the garden. So I would say
Good for
that.
you. Good for you.
All right, Nick. You and I are going to be superheroes. You got to pick who you're going to be, who I'm going to be, and what city you want to protect.
Oh man. Um, Geez. I guess I'll have to go to my first movie that I watched, superhero movie that I watched growing up. So, um, I guess I could be Batman, you could be Robin.
Okay.
Growing up in on the outskirts of New York City, there's probably no better city to protect than that one. So, we can go with it's kind of cliche given the movie, but we'll protect Gotham City at all costs.
Yeah, I think the real Gotham City, New York, needs us both right now. So,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast, buddy. So
yeah, I
we'll talk
know,
about that later.
I know that. What's your next one for me?
Yeah. Summer food spot. I'm obviously a big foodie. Food truck restaurant recommendation that kind of hits a little bit different in the summer. Where would you go? Outdoor seating area, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go to Hyde's on Onondaga Lake Parkway. Get
Okay.
Cooney's hot dogs. They got good grilled cheese there. They have churros now. I mean, it's definitely been a spot for my mom and I. It's been there forever and a day. And so Hyde's with the Hoffman hot dogs and Cooney's is an absolute like nostalgic take you
Yeah.
back 50 years type of
Yeah,
thing.
I'm writing that down. So yeah, that's a good call.
So, because you like food, I was going to go there too. Since you and I met over food and we went to Brian's Landing together, and that's also a great spot because all their outdoor seating is open out there here
Okay.
in this beautiful weather. So, you and I met over food at Brian's Landing. So, if I was going to create a Nick DiPillo dish, what would be on it and why?
Oh, man. Yeah, so maybe it's Italian to me. I'm not a one course guy, right? So you've got to,
Yeah.
if we're to start it off, like I need some sort of raw seafood action. So we're either going to shuck some oysters or get some good jumbo peel and eat shrimp. We'll move to a nice antipasto, and then some sort of salmon or something on a grill for me. That's kind of like, my go-to. So I'm a big seafood person. So yeah, so if we can start off with some oysters and some peel and eats and find our way to a little grilled fish on a grill, and some fresh grilled veggies, definitely a good way to go.
Probably the best answer that I've ever gotten is that you're Italian, you got to have multiple dishes. That's probably and the
Yeah, I mean,
antipasto. You say the word antipasto, every Italian is clapping somewhere in this world. So final
absolutely.
final question for me, Nick.
Oh man. Thing you're looking, obviously we're halfway through the summer. Fall's coming up. What are you looking forward to most?
Honestly, I'm a fall baby, so I'm looking forward to my birthday.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I love college football and college basketball. When they cross each other, it's a little hectic, but I do love it. And I like being a student of the game. I mean, I love basketball. Played it most of my life. Just recently got back on the court and did some things, and I love it. I shut my brain off. So I think what I'm looking forward to that I will say to you is coming out to a practice and just seeing how you run the practice.
Yeah. More than welcome. Anytime.
So my last question for you, Nick. Hmm. Single favorite moment so far in 2025 and why?
Ooh, 25. We're still in 25 right now, so I can't say the birth of my daughter. Um, I'll keep it professional, and I'll keep it toward Lemoyne. When we went out to St. Francis in the first round of the NEC tournament and upset them in the first round, we were the sixth seed; they were the three going in. I think that group had went through a ton of adversity during the year. Obviously, a challenging non-conference schedule,
Yeah.
ton of injuries, which I've never seen in college basketball. The way we got hit between injuries and illnesses and change, and then to have a solid, not great, but a solid NEC schedule where we definitely got better every single day. To go out there and upset the three seed on their home court after having playing out there a few weeks prior, they beat us pretty handily. To see the joy on the faces of our players and them to revel in that moment and to celebrate in the locker room and the bus ride was awesome going back. They deserved that. And as a coach, like you want to see your players um, have moments that they'll always remember, right? Those remember when moments. And we were able to create that. And that was through their hard work and through their dedication. And despite the trials and tribulations that we had during the course of the year, them never really wavering in the mission, just sticking to it. Seeing that and letting them and being a part of their experience with that was definitely something I'll always look fondly back on.
Yeah. And something to build on in this program as we step forward into 25-26. Nick DiPillo, head coach, Lemoyne women's basketball. Make sure you go out and see them this 2025-26 season. Nick, you and I will see each other soon. And God bless at practice today. I hope you all have fun.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Thank you as always.